Hi everyone, this is the last known renegade here. So I got a new camera. The camera will actually be able to hold some data without making me want to go absolutely bananas over how little the storage can hold for an iPhone 11. So I have this camera. This camera is going to help me film for the next while. Looking to invest in a newer, like more vloggy sort of camera. But until then, we're working on what we have. So we're going to talk about consent, and we're going to talk about why we have to keep bringing up the concept of consent when it comes to cosplay, when it comes to going to conventions, and also when it comes to online presence. So to further on that point, what does consent mean? Well, consent means you allow or give permission for something to happen. When you give permission for something to happen, you are saying you're okay with it, you're allowing it to happen. This idea is very easy to grasp, but for some people it's a lot harder. And what that basically means is, for some people, they don't understand why someone wouldn't give consent. Because sometimes people don't understand that the whole world doesn't understand what's going on in their head. Case in point, I used to make such outlandish jokes, and then someone had to turn around and tell me, Ren, I know you're joking, and you know you're joking, they don't know you're joking. That was something I was like, right. It goes with the notion where it took a few female friends for me. It's something that took a few female friends to say to me, you do realize we can't tell who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. It's not as simple as putting a logo on your chest and saying what you are, what your intentions are. Because, you know, people lie. And it's really disappointing when you find out someone who you had great respect for turns out to be a fucking creep. When we talk about cosplay, we talk about consent. What we're talking about is people feeling that they are allowed to walk around a convention hall dressed in their cosplay without being harassed. This harassment takes many forms. It takes catcalling, it takes physical touch, it takes being, put in awkward positions that you shouldn't be for any fucking reason. You'll get it wrong at times where you'll think you're doing something that is okay, and in your own circle it might be fine, but you have to understand that not everybody knows you, not everyone will understand what you're doing. And again, this is such a heavy topic, that's why I wanted to wait till at least a second video to start talking about the harsher stuff that comes with being a cosplayer, going to conventions, and talking about these very important issues. They are very important, and I do not want to undersell how important these issues are. People have been sexually assaulted, they have been groped, they have been inappropriately spoken to as a minor because of what they were wearing, because of the cosplay that they were wearing, because of the character they were portraying. And it's not alright. And it sounds, I know what you're saying, Renegade, we know all this isn't right. But the problem is, some people, some lads especially, don't get it. And it's so incredibly frustrating to have to be the guy, or to be someone that people turn to go, Ren, you're like one of the only guys I can trust. It shouldn't be like that, because it comes to the fact that I'm not flirting with everybody, or if I am, it's kind of like platonic flirting. It's not, I want to take you back to my hotel room, it's, aha, sort of flirting. I got told that I was one of the only lads that they had met on a weekend who wasn't trying to flirt with everybody in the group. Mind you, I had a girlfriend at the time, but even if I didn't, I don't go to conventions to hook up. If it happens, but if it doesn't, I'm not going to go, damn, that was such a terrible convention, I didn't hook up with anybody. If you go to a nightclub and you hook up, great. But if you go to a nightclub with your friends and you all have a good time, does it matter if any of you pull? No, because you were all there together and you had a good time. If your only intention of going to a nightclub is to hook up, and you don't hook up, then you might say it's a bad experience. If you're going to a Comic-Con, if you're going to a convention, with the sole reason of hooking up with a cosplayer, and you don't do it, that's completely your fault. You went in with the absolute wrong intention. I go to Comic-Cons to have fun. I go to Comic-Cons to cosplay. I go to Comic-Cons to buy merch and do cosplay competitions and stuff like that. I don't go with the idea of hooking up. I have once or twice, I don't tell. But the point is, you don't go in with that attitude and then have the right to turn around and go like, oh, all these cosplayers are so whatever. People. We're people. And I always say it comes down to the women, to the female presenting cosplayers who get the brunt of this. I very rarely get it. I might have had the one or two inappropriate comment thrown my way, but at the end of the day I was still treated like a man, you know. And more importantly, when I needed to defend a female cosplayer to one of my friends, like, I was treated with much more respect than the person that was going after. So this is a story about a friend of mine who, you know, she was exhausted, she was lying down, she was curled on the floor, and I saw these two lads. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they didn't know any better or didn't see how they seemed. But we're going to look, they were roughly, I would say, somewhere around 16, 17, could have been 18 or 19. So I stroll up, I see these two lads staring down at my friend, who's lying down on the floor, mind you. I think she was like in some steampunk attire. And I see these lads, I look at them, and I'm like, lads, something I can help you with? They're like, oh yeah, we're just making sure that she's alright. Not even breaking eye contact. You go, Sive, yeah? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm just a bit tired. She's alright, lads. You could fuck off. And they fucked off. You don't know what these lads would have done if they were unattended, if they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. We don't know. The important thing is, they knew full well that she was being looked after by me. There were other people there who were looking after her. Obviously at this moment, she was just by herself, lying down, trying to relax. It shouldn't be my job to make sure that she's okay. Nor should it be any of the staff's job. Well, technically it is the staff's job. But it should just be common practice that if someone wants to be by themselves, if they're lying down like that. It'd be one thing if she was face down. She wasn't face down. She was kind of like curled up in a ball to the side, leaning against a wall. So she was fine. If she wasn't breathing, there would have been an issue. But the fact was, I saw these two lads standing over her. I don't know what they would have done had I not been there or there wasn't other people around. And that's why there is an issue when it comes to cosplay is not consent. This is just one story out of hundreds, if not thousands. And the unfortunate bit now is, nowadays, with everything being so accessible, with people being so accessible through their Instagram, through their TikTok, through their Facebook, a lot of creeps are getting out there and getting a lot more insidious, and they're getting closer to these people. Like, it doesn't just stop at going to conventions. The online aspect plays a factor. I have numerous stories of women telling me about guys showing off their penis, touching themselves inappropriately on camera with these people, coercing these people into allowing them to do it, and they get away with it. It's beyond frustrating, have to saying to lads, if you want to be a man, you gotta act like a man. And not just in a, you gotta be strong, but it means you gotta show fucking respect. That to me is what it means to be a man. To show respect to everybody. To be a protector. You might not always have that qualities in you. You generally might be burnt out and you might not have the elements of being a man. But you do not be a man by showing off your ding-a-ling. You don't be a man by pressuring young people to do things for you. And you're definitely not a man if you're going to sexually assault someone. Regardless of whether you thought it was alright, you wasn't. Like, I generally have nothing but hatred towards a lot of male cosplayers who cosplay as Spider-Man because of those who've come out of being people who have sexually assaulted people, who have used that legacy that Spider-Man could be anybody to be using as a mask to hide behind being a predator. It is beyond disappointing, it's beyond disgusting. And I definitely know if Stanley was alive today, he'd absolutely be fucking disgusted. But the aspect of Spider-Man that still lives on, and is why I'm doing all this, is with great power comes great responsibility. While I may not be someone who has 50,000, 200,000 fucking followers, I do take the fact that I have 19,000 followers on TikTok as a means that, okay, I could try and make a better influence for a lot of young lads I'm so sick of the Andrew Tates. I'm so sick of these guys who are trying to push that masculinity is all about being, you know, prehistoric man, where we didn't fucking know any better. We were just running around taking what we wanted. To me, that's not being a man, that's being a bully. And I'm, for one, sick of bullies. When it comes to being a man, it means being a protector. When it comes to being a man, it means stepping up. When it comes to being a man, it means you can go out there and you can fight and you can strive and you can do all that. And you can get beaten down, but you can pick yourself back up. And that mentality of being a man has nothing to do with gender. Has nothing to do with sex. A woman can be a man. Someone who is trans can be a man in that mentality. Just as much as I look at how many people out there are, honest to God, the epitome of what it means to be a woman. To be strong, to be resilient, you know, all these aspects. And I hate to see anybody take the mentality of, I'm a man, I can do what I want. Or, you know, they're a woman, I can do whatever I want to them. Cosplay does not mean consent. Bullying is not consent. Harassment is not consent. It goes beyond understanding how people in this community can act this way. A lot of us were the people no one wanted to associate with. A lot of us are the people who were bullied. And then to go out, dress up as these characters, and then go out and do the same is disgusting. Or to dress up as these characters and do stuff as horrific as grab somebody without their consent, to touch somebody without their consent, to, you know, force themselves upon these people because they cosplay as a character and the person they grabbed cosplays their romantic counterpart. Mind you, not knowing who the fuck that person is. What do you do? What do you do in that situation? Well, the answer is very simple. You fucking call it out. If you are someone who has done this in the past and you're going, wow, a lot of what Renegade has said is dawning on me and I did this when I was younger, or I had done this, whatever. You stop it now, right? I cannot police you. I cannot control you and make you do the right thing. But if you're watching this, you're listening to this, and you go, wow, okay, a lot of what Renegade has said is resonating with me right now. These are a lot of things I had done. I need to stop doing it. I need to be better. Then cool, you're going on the right path. I can only call out those who it either been publicly known about, or I've been given permission by one of the victims or a few of the victims to talk about. Otherwise, I don't talk about it. It's why I know a few things about a few people, but I don't talk about it because I've been asked not to. I've been confided in, but I haven't been asked to do anything with it. It pains me that there aren't more guys out here who have this same relationship with women where they know regardless they can go to and talk to. There will come a point where we're going to have a conversation about how men need to behave towards women, and I will only talk about it from that perspective because I'm a man. I know women can talk about how they would like to be treated by men. I can only talk about how men should treat women. In, you know, spoiler for that episode, it's with the same fucking respect you give the lads. Anyway, that's all we're going to talk about today. If you've got anything more that we need to add, or you have any questions, we'll talk about it in an upcoming video. Otherwise, this has been The Last Non-Renegade. It's been great chatting to you.